Let's go! Today on Power Hour SEC, we're taking a look at the cold, hard truth about this Austin Simmons story, okay? A 2025 quarterback jumping to the class of 2023. This is relatively unprecedented. I would be shocked if this has honestly ever happened before, but it is a little bit misleading, okay? And I'm going to tell you why, and it's nothing actually to do with Austin. Let's first off start by saying Austin Simmons is a very good prospect. I saw on an On3 deep dive that they did a Power 5 coach comparing him to Tua. They're more smooth throwers from the pocket who honestly does a really good job of anticipating receivers. This throw right here, goodness gracious. Look at this, sitting in the pocket, firing this bad boy in this window right here. My goodness gracious. Oh, man. Once again, go look at the highlights from that LSU Penn State Bowl game many years ago. You'll see a good little zone read pull, so you'll see that he can do some running as well. But the truth is, the age is more important than the class.
Get into this big time. You finished high school as a freshman.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Talk to us.
Like, I finished all like the core class requirements when I was a freshman. You know, you need 16 to graduate. You know, I finished all that when I was a freshman because I did accelerated learning while I was in middle school. You know that, and I eventually finished when I was a freshman.
I don't know fully how that works, but just by my understanding, you know, if you're homeschooled, you're able to, you know, work around class schedules, and you can actually push forward basically as fast as you can, and that is essentially what happened. So the first thing is obviously he's a phenomenal student. You know, a lot of people point out his 5.34 GPA. I've not quite ever heard or quite fully understand that, but as you'll see, he's already taking college courses. But what is very interesting is how old he actually is. Okay, so according to multiple outlets, as you can see, he is already 17 years old. And if you actually dive a little bit deeper, this is his baseball perfect game profile. He is 17 years and 7 months old. So why is that relevant? Well, that age actually puts him closer to what a 2024 player would be than a class of 2025 players. Perfect Game is pretty much the only recruiting service that keeps up with age. So Austin Simmons, as you guys just saw, is 17 years and 7 months old. Now, one of the more impressive kids at the Elite 11 this past weekend was Ryan Puglisi. He didn't actually end up being an Elite 11 quarterback officially, but what really makes it impressive is he was 17 years and 6 months years old. So him competing against the best of the class of 2024, he was younger than Austin Simmons, who was class of 2025, and that is a lot more common than you would think. So DJ Lagway, Derek Lagway, who you just saw a minute ago, as you'll see, he is 17 years and 10 months old. Now, there are some players that are on the higher side. Obviously, 18-1 is pretty normal. This is actually Dylan Raiola, and this is another one of the great quarterbacks, also from Florida, Luke Kromanik. Am I saying his name correctly? He is a Florida State commit, and he is very, very, very impressive. As you'll see, 18 years and 5 months. We get back to Colin Hurley. Now, this is where it gets really impressive. Now, full disclosure, I know Colin. He's been on my channel before, and he's just a great dude. But what I would tell you is he is just like Austin Simmons in that he was once a class of 2025 four-star quarterback. Colin Simmons also reclassified. Colin Simmons, Freudian slip. He's a really good player too, but a different position. But Colin Hurley reclassified to 2024. But Colin Hurley is actually only 16 years and 3 or 4 months old. So I know it's a lot to process, but I think putting all the ages next to each other, Simmons is going to be young for the class of 2023. Very young, in fact. But he was old for the class of 2024. 2025, if that makes sense. These are his high school stats via Max Prep. So 8th grade year, he got some varsity reps. Same thing his freshman year. Obviously, only played 6 games. But his sophomore year, but in theory by age more so his junior year, you could see, he was really good. Just by looking at his statistics, as you'll see, a lot of 300 and 400-yard games. And you saw some of the tape. Some of those games were not played in the best of conditions. So what does all of this data tell us today? Does age even matter? It does. Probably a lot more than you think. Okay, so look, Austin Simmons, when he was in 8th grade, by age he was probably more so in 9th grade, but he was still, playing varsity competition. And last year as a high school sophomore, but in theory as a high school junior, you're seeing this in the background. So he was, pretty daggum good, right? But age is very interesting. First thing I want to show you is this chart right here from J. Bud Davis, okay? Very good analytics, college football Twitter follow, and he shows you the bias towards older players and blue chip ratios for the class of 2021. So I always use this example, Leonard Fournette and a guy by the name of DJ Chark, right? They were both in the same class of 2014. One was a 5-star, another was a 3-star, and they both have had very similar NFL careers. DJ Chark was a year and a half younger than Leonard Fournette, and that is crazy, right? Now, why is that important? Well, if you are interested for a deeper dive on this subject, listen to an episode, Outliers Revisited, by Malcolm Gladwell in his last season of Revisionist History. And in that episode, it's not only athletically, but also academically, where you excel compared to the rest of your class if you are older than everybody in the class. So I know that was a lot of data to be thrown at you in one direction, but here at the end, we're going to try and make it all make sense. So specifically to Austin Simmons, if he was by age more of a class of 2024 guy, why not reclassify to 2024? Well, you can go for yourself and check out the On3 top quarterbacks in the class of 2024, and you can see that a lot of them have already committed to all the big schools, including his 2 finalists, Ole Miss and Florida, who both have quarterbacks committed, as we mentioned DJ Lagway a little bit earlier, but they both have 4-star or better quarterbacks committed already, whereas in the class of 2023, Florida and Ole Miss did not take a quarterback in their last recruiting cycle. So it is a little interesting because if you do reclassify to Florida, Florida has a clear path to playing next season because their quarterback room is not nearly as deep as Ole Miss's. In fact, Ole Miss could have 3 quarterbacks better than Florida's starter. So I don't know why he picked Ole Miss. Maybe I don't know why, but I'll leave that up for interpretation. And also, he is a baseball player, so Ole Miss and Florida both have good baseball programs, so I believe he will play both. Maybe he liked Ole Miss better for baseball. I don't know. The next thing, is this actually the right move? Should he have just played out his high school career and just gone with the class of 2025? That is up for interpretation, right? You can... Obviously, I don't know the kid personally. He might have just wanted to, get to that next level quicker. I totally get that. Because, look, the NFL is very biological, right? The younger you are, in theory, the longer you're going to play. But I would argue that that is more important at another position like running back, where you obviously see sharp declines on average at the age of 27, 28, right? You see that at other positions as well. Quarterback isn't as biologically, athletically important. Like, you could play longer at that position, as you guys have seen, with not only multiple starters, but multiple career backups. So I could state that playing another year of high school football would be good for you just because of the experience. But what I can tell you is he was old for 2025, as you guys saw, and he is going to be very young for 2023. So how common is it for somebody around his age group to actually play at the next level? Well, it is true. He will be one of the younger players in all of Division I, but it is not an unprecedented age, right? Because remember, he was very old for 2025. As far as a 2023 recruit or just a player in this age group, it is hard to go through and just obtain all the birth dates. Trust me, I've tried it, and I was able to successfully take a 5-year sample of LSU recruits from 2013 to 2017 and get all their birth dates. And on average, there was probably 2-ish players before the age of 18 that joined a college program in the summer. So it's not too uncommon for him to obviously be his age, but he will be younger, and that could be an uphill battle for him because, remember, you saw earlier, I understand that he did play some as an 8th grader, but his only full year of true starts was this past year. So, yes, it is true. Anytime you jump 2 classifications, very impressive. But in actuality, he jumped 1, and with homeschooling, allowing you to set your own schedule and all that stuff, it does make it easier to do just that, okay? It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! And tonight, we are doing buffalo chicken. Let's go!